Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, which is turning into Flosstube mostly for this episode. So let me start off with who I am. I'm Kathy Turnbull. You have stumbled across Turnbull's Threads. This is a channel where I do talk about what I'm making. Mostly focused on knitting stuff and cross stitch, but a smattering of other things get thrown in here. If you're looking at the caption, I believe this one is going to say like Flosstube, so it should be like makers episode, etc. A Flosstube, whatever number. I think this is number 2. So if it's a little bit more cross-stitch heavy, I am going to try and maybe flip those. So it might be Flosstube number 2, Makers episode, whatever. A long ramble saying, basically, I'm going to talk about everything that I make because I know myself and I am a lazy person. Also, this takes time. This takes time to organize and get everything in a place where I can find it because I tend to migrate. And yeah, I will not make the time to do this more than once a month, so we're not going to have like separate ones for different crafts because I know myself and I won't be able to keep up with that. Like, I'm lucky that this is good. I'm doing this number 2 after 2 months. So yeah. Long rambly intro to say basically this is a channel about me and what I make. Mostly what I make. So I'm going to try and probably follow what I've been seeing from basically everyone who knits, the people who do knitting vlogs, the people who do Flosstube. We'll start off with things that are done, things that are mostly done, and then continue down until we get to like plans and things that I have most of the stuff for, and this is what I'm going to do, hopefully, before the next episode. So, buckle up, this is going to be a super long one because I have so many projects. It's also been 2 months. So, to start off with, do I have fully finished objects? Yes, I do. They're both cross-stitch. So, the first one that I have totally finished is this guy. So Noel. It's a Mill Hill kit, and I backed it with some felt and a plaid pattern on the back. Little Christmas ornament. It's done using perforated paper, and I know I've seen some people who've said they don't like perforated paper. I actually don't mind it, as long as it's small enough, right? So if it gets too big, I can see how that would get really annoying and like have problems in the center, but this size, I actually really like it. I enjoyed doing this one. The cross stitch, the beading, it was my first super intense beading project, I guess. And yeah, I enjoyed it. I really liked it. I don't know what number. Mill Hill kit has Noel on it. If you search that, you should be able to find it. So, yes, first fully finished object. So happy. The next fully finished object is this guy. So I think I was pretty much done. And if you've seen my finished parade, then this has already made an appearance. But this is Mystical Dragon from this book, Bewitching Cross Stitch by Joan, Elliott. It's one of 4 small little patterns that she has in there. I am planning on doing the other 3, very similar to this one. Just haven't got around to it yet. But that was a fun, quick-ish cross stitch. First time working with Krynic. It's actually nicer to work with than some of the other like metallic floss that I've done, so pretty happy with it. It's a decent metallic floss. I can work with the other stuff, but that one's better than some of the stuff I've worked with kids. So, yep, that's my fully finished objects. And that is all I have in terms of fully finished. Now, do I have other finished stuff? Yes, I do. So we're gonna continue on into that. Oh, before I forget, we're gonna kind of insert here because I meant to do this before. So my last Flosstube Makers episode was about 2 months ago. And I had mentioned some people, and those people ended up mentioning me. Thank you, Cross Stitch the Globe. And several other people had found me, and had mentioned me on their channels. And when I put up my finished parade, I hadn't yet figured out how YouTube was like notifying you that people had mentioned you on their channel. So I didn't know about it at that time. And yeah, I didn't mention them back. But because I figured it out, and I know it, there were 2 people who mentioned me, the German Stitcher and I'm Not Cross, I'm Stitching. So the German Stitcher mentioned my finished object that she had seen on there, and she actually got the kit. And I watched most of that episode, and she had just finished, I believe, Mirabilia, the Lady of the Flag, which is a giant piece, and it was gorgeous. So if you get a chance, go check her out. She had some really neat things that she was showing in that episode. I haven't kept up with her channel, but that was pretty cool. And then I'm Not Cross, I'm Stitching. I don't remember why she mentioned me. Like, she'd found me through Cross Stitch the Globe, and happened to mention me. I cannot remember. It's been about a month and a half since I've seen that episode. But she puts out pretty short episodes talking about obviously what she's stitching. The most recent thing that I saw with her was Stitching with Sirius, where she's like binge watching Harry Potter movies and like taking you along as she does a stitching project. Apparently her other channel also does crochet with the same thing, but a slightly different name. So fun, kind of quirky person, has a really cute cat that likes to show up in her videos. So feel free to check both of those 2 people out, if you're watching this. And then, wanted to talk about some lovely Flosstube people who I'd started interacting, like I made a comment on their videos or on their associated Instagram channels, and they have been very nice and like respond back and great, like really fun to interact with. So obviously Cross Stitch the Globe, who I just mentioned, started it all out. I mentioned them, they mentioned back, and we've commented on a couple of different things, so that's been fun. The Runner Stitcher, I commented actually on one of his earlier episodes because I'd seen it, been listening to something that related to it, and since he seemed to like that particular theme, I mentioned that he might enjoy that, and he actually got back pretty fast, so I was impressed, really enjoyed that interaction. And then the Hathaway Stitchers, with all of her with the birds and all of the sibling interactions. They're great to watch, very entertaining, and really lovely people on the other side of things. Like, they are more than happy to interact, and if you mention them or comment on something, most of the time they'll get back. So I thought I would go ahead and shout them out and say basically thank you for being lovely people, and also if you enjoy watching this kind of stuff, feel free to go watch them. They are very fun. All 3 of them have very fun channels to watch. So now that that is done, I had that note and then I forgot about it. Let's go on to finished objects, since I have a ton of stuff to get through. So finished objects, I did finish a couple of things this time. So the first thing that I finished was this little guy. So this one says Snow Buddy's Perfect. It's going to be an ornament. It's a little mitten ornament. I have a set, actually, a kit, this kit. I prepared this time. So Janlynn's, what do they call it? 24 festive ornaments, and they give you the kit and all of the materials to make the 24 ornaments. So this is one of the ornaments. I finished 3 now, and 2 of them were finishes this time. So, you can see Snow Buddy's Perfect is up here. I finished that little mitten there, and then the other one that I finished was Peace. So this is another mitten one, and it has a little candle on it, and is it? Yeah, there it is. So 3 out of 24 are done. You can tell I've been really working on this one lately. But I do intend on eventually finishing all 24 and making them into ornaments. That's kind of, I guess, the next thing. Well, really the next thing is to finish the ornaments, but besides the point. So that was that finish. Let me put that over here because I'm going to be pulling that out again. The next thing that I finished is this one. Look at her! Isn't she gorgeous? So you can kind of see some of the beading, but beading, Krynic. So this is my first finish from the designer Nora Corbett. So she has 2 lines out, if you don't already know. 2 different lines of cross-stitch patterns. A smaller one, so this is one of the smaller ones. This was actually a start and a finish, I think, from the last time that I filmed. I had not started this when I last talked with you guys, and it is finished now. So this is Claire by Nora Corbett. It's NC 292, so this is the Nora Corbett line, one of the smaller ones. They're not quite as big as her other line, which is Mirabilia Designs. They tend to be a little bit faster, quicker, but yeah, I finished it. I really loved working on this one. So there's basically 2 colors that you're cross-stitching with the entire thing. It's mostly black 310 with a little bit of a specialty floss, silk floss, one of the Karen watercolors thrown in there. So there isn't a ton of switching in terms of what colors you're doing. There is counting, but because it was just one color, it was a really relaxing stitch for me. I really, really, really enjoyed this one. This one was so much fun, and whenever I started working on it, I just couldn't put it down. So, highly recommend. Loved doing it. I'm gonna finish the other one in that pair of sisters. So there was Claire, and I believe it's Nora, I think, is the second one, but I don't know. I don't have that pattern. I did order it. I'm gonna have fun. I'm not gonna put it on this fabric, so I'm gonna do a different fabric for it. I'll either probably go green or go gold. But that is future me problem, not current me problem. But yes, it's finished. Loved it. Highly recommend. So that is all of my cross-stitch finishes. Now, I did finish 2 knitting projects during the 2 months that I've been away as well. Quick break. Talking a lot. So the first one that I finished is this guy. Well, technically the second one, but this is the first one that I have on there. So this is the Lazy Cat Cardigan by Veronika Lindberg. I used the called for yarn in a different colorway. So I think I went darker than the shade that she used in her cover, because hers is like a light gray blue, while this is like definitely a charcoal black one. So it was my first project using half fisherman's rib. I actually really liked it. I liked knitting that. That was fun. Interesting construction. You kind of work bottom up, and then like how you do the back and the front and the two. It was interesting. I have never done a pattern like this. It's also my first time doing a cardigan. Enjoyed it. It's not blocked, so if I put it on, it's supposed to grow after blocking, but if I put it on, it is actually the right size right now. It will probably grow some, so it'll go from being like just barely fit. Like, this is a snug, perfect fit, and it's supposed to be slightly like hers is super oversized. The way I knit it, it's supposed to be slightly oversized. But, oh, it's also hot. It's turning into summer up here in the northern hemisphere, and yeah, wearing alpaca yarn is wonderful in the winter. It's not great in the summer. But yes, it does fit me, and it should get bigger, so that'll be fun. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I want to block it. It's on my list of things to block. I have so many. I have 3 right now, and I'm working on I think once I finish this project that I will talk about in a little bit, I need to have a blocking party and basically just use all my mats and block everything. But also, not right now. So that's that one. And then the final one that I did is this. So she's published the pattern, so I can and will show you what it looks like. I love this pattern. This is such a fun knit. And it's a really nice product too. I really super enjoy this. So this is Summer Love by Conexus Knits. It's a drop shoulder, so you can see drop shoulder construction. You knit it using a mohair yarn. You have the option of using either mohair and sewing thread. Yes, you will knit with sewing thread. A mohair and sewing thread knit, or a sock yarn and like lace weight. I should say lace weight. Lace weight mohair knit. And it has these really cool details where you can see it here with like the eyelets. It needs blocked. I haven't blocked it yet. That is on my list of things to do. I might do a blocking party like this week. Yeah. I need to get so the reason why I haven't been blocking everything is because I don't have the floor space yet, because I have been working on organizing my apartment because of the recent move, which a couple of episodes ago, yes, I moved. I moved very far to a new place. Initially got most of my stuff unpacked and then kind of stalled, and I've been doing a bunch of other stuff, and so it hasn't happened yet. But once I have floor space, I need to block up at least 3 projects, probably 4 by the time I actually have floor space. So this one needs blocked. It actually works out nicely even without the blocking. It looks good, but it's gonna look even better once I have the blocking, because like the details on the cuffs will show up much better, as well as the eyelet details in the center of the shirt. But really enjoyed it, loved the eyelets, have never done anything like that ever before. Super cool. Not necessarily something a beginner should start with. It's a great pattern, loved it. The instructions were excellent. Super neat construction. I really love the finished product. Not exactly something that if you've never knit before you should start out with. There's some pretty advanced techniques in it, so it's like a adventurous beginner, advanced intermediate kind of pattern. If you're advanced, you should be able to figure this out. But love it. Now that I'm wearing it, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to block it so that I can actually wear it nicely everywhere. Because it is really light. Like, it's super light. It's probably not good for right now, but like once it starts getting a hint of fall, it's going to be like one of my favorite. It will be one of my favorites in a little bit. So yeah, that's my finished objects. Oof. So, now that I have finished talking about all of my finished objects, what's next, you say? Why, it would be my works in progress, because I have so many of them. So how am I going to go about this? So the stuff that I think I'll show you first will be like the works in progress that I have been working on, and because I have a ton of cross stitch and not as much of the other stuff, I'm going to start with the other stuff first. So I have a couple of knitting projects and actually a Swedish weaving project. So a while back talked about Swedish weaving, so Afghan Swedish weaving, that's what I'm doing with one of these, and I'm actually going to be making this one, which is the Sierra. So I started that probably about a month ago, and I've actually gotten a decent ways. Oh yeah. Haven't finished that. So yeah, I started it. I haven't yet finished a full pattern repeat, but I have almost the whole bottom of one of the patterns done. So yes, this is a long-term project. You'll probably see it show up. It might go on like timeout during the summer because it is an Afghan, so summer is not necessarily the best time for it, but it will be coming out again. I do enjoy it. If you want to know more about Swedish weaving, feel free to talk about it in the comments with me. I would love to talk, especially if like you have more like some ideas on where to get some different patterns, because I just have the one book, which is Afghans, and that's pretty much all I have. I enjoy doing it. I really, really do like doing it, but after I finish the Afghans, like, I'm not going to make a ton of extra ones because one does not need a bunch of one does need a bunch of Afghans, but there is a limit at some point where like you're like, I have 8 Afghans. I don't think I need to make another one. Yeah. So that's my Swedish weaving project. Oh, lost my needle. Let me put my needle back in it. The next thing that I worked on was my Katrina rib for Haiti, which is a pattern by Cookie A. This one I kind of stalled on because I'm almost finished with the bottom, and then I need to figure out what to do with it, like how I'm going to do it, because I'm not going to follow her pattern. So this is this one side that I want. 1, 2, 3. No, this is the side I want. So this is the front. So this is the pattern. Oh yeah, there you can see it. It has a nice traveling rib section on it that'll go across. I don't know, probably about 1 inch to 2 inches away from being at where I want the bottom to be. And then the pattern technically says basically you put your sleeves back on, you knit like 2 rows, and then you're done because it's supposed to be a tee. But this is in, so I used what they said to use, which is a wool yarn, DK weight wool yarn. It's warm. It's very warm. It is not a tee material. I'm not going to leave it as a tee. It's either going to become a 3/4 length, or I'm going to modify it to being long sleeve. But I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do it yet, so hence I've stalled out like there. I need to go through and finish the bottom. If I can finish the bottom, then I guess I can make decisions at that point. But this was my mindless work knit, and then when I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to think because I can't follow the pattern, it kind of stalled and became a not work pattern. But yeah, I need to pull it out again. It deserves to get finished. It's really close. At least the bottom part. The sleeves will take a little bit longer. My next works in progress is actually another Veronika Lindberg pattern. It's called Stay Up Till Dawn Sweater. This is my current work project, and it's going super fast, and I really enjoy it. So this, yeah, I just finished the yoke, and I literally just separated for the sleeves. So I'm going to be working on the body now. It is knit in Bernays Softy Chunky in the color Dark Mauve. I obviously like this. It's a big yarn and it's got big needles, which means it goes super fast, which is so nice. So instead of taking a while, like that was one ball of yarn that's probably been on the needles for a week and a half at most. Yeah. So I'll be able to finish I should be able to finish this fairly fast. It depends on how many meetings I have at work, right? It's my work knit. So however many, if I have a bunch of meetings, I'll get through it a lot faster. So that's that one that I've worked on. I also cast on a different one called the Easy V by Caitlin Hunter, which is this guy. So we've started the V shaping for this pattern. I'm gonna need to figure out what to do with that end. So I've started the V shaping for this pattern. This is a Melbrigo yarn, and it should end up looking something like that. I haven't worked on it a ton. It's been sitting on my floor. I've had a couple of other projects that have come up. Mostly I've been doing some test knitting, so those take higher priority over my personal knitting. Unless it's a work project, and then like it's a work project, so yeah. But this I need to get back to it. But I haven't because of this one. So this is a tease. It's not the final thing, but the Sweet Poppy Pullover by Jennifer Owens is this one, and I've split for the sleeves. I'm working on the body. Yes, it's a really fun pattern. When it comes out, it will be linked below. But like I said, it's a test knit. It's not yet ready to be, it's not yet released, so this is obviously just a tease. Like, you can see part of it, you're not going to see the whole thing, because hopefully by the time my next one comes out, she'll have released it as a pattern. But I am knitting it using the Vita Lana Ascendance in the colorway Fatigue Green. Yes, I'm knitting it in fatigue green, but it actually, I'm very happy with how it's turning out. I really like the central lace motif. It's a really fun knit. Also one that will need blocked. So I need to clean my apartment or organize my apartment so I have floor space. Yeah. So that is all of my knitting works in progress. Let's move on to some cross stitch. There's a bunch. So the first thing that I've been working on with my cross stitch is I have another perforated paper pattern. This one is going to be a bag knit. It's the Mill Hill Kit, the Spring Bouquet collection, the Tricolor Pansy, and that's where I am. I am, I believe, 2 colors away from being finished with the cross stitching on this, and then I get to go back and do the beading. So this one is really coming along. Hopefully by the next time I see everybody, it will be done and I can put it as a fully finished object. Yeah. So that's my first whip. My second whip. Let me find it. I have a bunch. So my second one is one of the Janlynn ornaments. So here's my start on it. Let's see which one. So it is this kitty. Please focus. So it's that. It'll be that cat right there. Yeah, I haven't gotten too far on it. I need to work some more on it. But yeah. Next whip. The next whip that I have is an Artiste Mini. This one is called Tribal Love. And I've gotten that far on it. I've got the L, the V, and part of the E done. So we will keep working on it. It should end up looking something like this. So, yep, Tribal Love. That's where I am on it. Opened the kit and decided to start it. Kind of where that one went. The next one is called Day Surrendering Tonight. I think I've shown it before, at least on my plans. So I did start it. I have a bunch of this corner finished. I obviously need to keep working on it because it is not finished. But yep, that's where I am on that. I do enjoy it. It's a good knit. It's a good cross stitch. First full coverage, so we'll see how I like it. I have a number of different projects that are full coverage, so if I enjoy it, I'll do more. The next one is a recent kind of impulse start. So there's a cell called, oh, what is it? It's like basically you have the kit, start the kit. Like, it's there, just start it. So I saw that and was like, oh, I have a number of those, even though I have a ton of whips right now. I have one of those, why not? So yeah, this is the one that I started for that. So this is Design Works. I don't know that it has a name. If it does, I don't know what it is. So this is 2754. It's a fancy lady one with a bird cage. It's really pretty. I have a sort of small start on it, so the middle of her dress. That's where I've started on her. Yeah, obviously need to work on it more. The next one I have, I'm actually probably going to get rid of this one because I don't like it. So this is one that I was going to do for the Year of the Dragon cell. So the Mystical Dragon was the first one that I did for that cell. This was going to be my second piece for it. I really like the pattern. So this is called SS172 Sampler. It's an Etsy pattern. I really like the pattern. And I was going to do it in greens on a black. But I decided to start it with doing a 1/1 on a 25 Lugana with an unknown variegated thread. And yeah, I like the variegation. I hated working with this, which is why I started it and then I haven't continued with it. So I need to figure out what size fabric I need for this to do more of a 2/2 probably. Do a 2/2 or a 1/2 and maybe not in black. I think if I did 2/2 on black I'd be fine, but it's the 1/2 and then it is some old unnamed floss and it does not make me happy. So I think I'm gonna stop this one and use the fabric for something else. But that's that. The next ones that I worked on is from this book, bookmark medley, and I'm doing these guys. So trying to not show the pattern. So these two. So these are going to be gifts for my sister and my mother, who are very much coffee drinkers. And I have got this far on it. So I'm actually stitching these in hand. So this is my first time doing that. I don't mind it. I am doing it with unknown floss. So I basically was like, that's close to the color, we'll go with it. It's not named, so I inherited some floss from my mother and I didn't know what I was doing at the time, and I ended up taking all of the identifying markers off of it. So I don't know what type of floss it is. And yeah, that's what I'm using for this, because it's like, I don't know what it is, but those colors match and it'll make some good bookmarks for the two of them. So bookmarks in hand. In hand isn't my favorite. I don't super mind it, but definitely not my favorite way to do a cross stitch. The next one's another DesignWorks project. So this one is a alphabet by the sea, and this is where I am on it. So I've got some of it marked out, not all of it. The hoop is, so Cross Stitch the Globe talks about some hoops in her thing. So I had only worked with the traditional whatever you can get from your big box screw ones. But based off of that, I did look to see if I could get some more antique princess and duchess hoops, and I did manage to get some for a nice deal, for a decent price. So I have a couple of oval duchesses and a couple of round princess ones. I do like the princess ones. They work really well, and the duchesses are really nice too, so I will probably continue to use them. But I'm not going to stop using all of my other hoops. A hoop is a hoop. So continuing on, my next project, my next work in progress is this guy. So this is World Map by Busilla. It's a stamped cross stitch. I've been working on the border. This is one that I've picked up and dropped, then picked up and dropped. I will finish this one. This is going to get finished. When it's going to get finished? Good question. But obviously I've gotten there. This is still a border I am using a Q-snap on this. This is the first project I use a Q-snap on. I don't particularly like the Q-snap, but it is nice for like this project where it's a super big project and having more space, much better. I can fit like a quarter of the design in the Q-snap, so that means that I can stitch for longer before having to move it, which is really nice. So that's that. Okay, so 2 more projects before we get into the really big long whip, which is why I was like, yeah, we're gonna do this before we do the other one. So Cross Stitch the Globe started this one for Mira May, and I had previously started this. So this is Stargazer by Mirabilia Designs. So Nora Corbett, the person who designed the Claire that I finished, this is her bigger designs. So this is Stargazer, and the model is stitched obviously on a toasted. If you want to see what the model stitched on looks like, check out Cross Stitch the Globe. She's doing it on the called for fabric. I went different. So I decided that I wanted to do it on something that looked more like night. So I started at the bottom, and I'll be working my way up her dress. So this is, what is it? Color. This is India Ink by Jackson Fibre Arts. It's a hemp cloth. I really do like their hemp cloth. They're really soft. That's what I did Claire on. I super enjoy it. Highly recommend if you can get a chance to stitch on it, do it. I really like them. But this is a darker fabric, as you can tell. I was going for the night sky, so putting her dress against the night, and it does mean that I have limited stitching availability for this, so it needs to be during the day. Stitching at night on it is not a great option for me. So I haven't made a super ton of progress, but I have made progress on it. I'm pretty happy with it. This is the one that I had meant to be my focus piece for a sal, the Mirabilia Leap Day sal. But I started this one and another one at the same time. This was meant to be my focus piece. Yeah. Let me show you what is actually been my focus piece. So Ophelia by Mirabilia, obviously this is one of the Mirabilia ones, has been my focus piece, and will definitely be finished before the end of 4 years based off of my progress so far. So Ophelia is this one, and it looks like this. So obviously this is based off of the Ophelia from Shakespeare's play Hamlet, if I'm recalling correctly. I'm pretty sure it's Hamlet. So obviously she goes mad, which was kind of I think the inspiration for this, if I recall correctly. Yeah, Tale of an Innocent Maiden Driven to Madness. So this is the Ophelia that this piece is based off of. And this one I do have super tight margins on. You can see this is kind of the edge over here, and then this is the edge over here, so I have no room to spare on the sides. I should be much better on the top to bottom, but I have finished that much. So this hoop is about done. So I'm probably almost done with the cross stitching for about 1/6 of it. This has definitely been my focus. It's a really fun one to stitch on, and like if you get to a point where you're like tired of doing the same color over and over again, because her dress is obviously very big. It's a cream color. It can be nice stitching, but after stitching for a while, you're like, I really am tired of cream. And then you have these lovely spots of color for the different flowers that are on there, which is really fun to like pop in there. So you were like, okay, I'm tired doing the cream. Let's do some of these flowers. And it's a really nice like split up. So obviously that has been one of my more focused pieces. And I really enjoy her. So now that I have finished talking about that Mirabilia, let's talk about what I did in May. So I was inspired and stupid. Obviously watching a bunch of Flosstube. There were some people who did Mirabilia May. So the runner Stitcher mentioned doing some of that, where he was doing some of his focus. I think he did anyways, or at least he has a Mirabilia project he's been working on. Cross Stitch the Globe did Mira May, and she focused on either her new starts or some pieces that she'd already started working on. Yeah, so I did something interesting. So I decided that I was going to start, so I had a number of projects that I had the patterns for. So I was like, okay, we'll start a new Mirabilia for pretty much every day in May. Yeah. So some of them are smaller, a lot of them are free, but that is a lot of projects. And so I have a lot of things to talk about today. Yes. So let's get started. There's like 31 of these things. So the first one that well, it's not the first one. This is the first one that I have here. So the first one we'll talk about is this one, which is, pull it out, Mirabilia Designs Peacock, MDC 24. If I can, I'll put a picture up here. So this one is, I don't think this is a free pattern. I think this is one of the patterns that I got because I am following her on Patreon. And because I follow her on Patreon, whenever she releases a pattern in the Patreon group, I get the pattern. Yay! So I started this one and did some alterations to begin with. So they're like, yeah, knit it, do it 2/2. I changed that to 1/2 on 40 count. So yeah, itty bitty teeny tiny start, just a thread, but yeah, I think now we're gonna sort of focus. Maybe. So you can see like right there. That's what I started. It's very small. It is what it is. It's on Fox and Rabbit Ocean Air Linen. So we'll get back to that in the future. That's not going to be kind of my first one, but it is a start. So I started it. Happy that I started it. I did do this in part because I had visited a local needle shop on my trip over to my brother's wedding, and while there I got a bunch of different fabrics in different counts to like see what I like to work with. So most of these are actually, most of those pieces that I got, like basically remnants. So they had a bunch of remnants that were on sale, that you could buy obviously at a lower price than what they would typically charge, so that you could, because it's a remnant and they're odd sizes, so like this is a 6" by 20 inches. So I got a bunch of those to see what I liked, give me a chance to try a bunch of different brands of linen, and see if there's anything that I absolutely hate versus anything that I would really like to work with again. So this is a 40 count fox and rabbit. I'm doing a 1/2. We'll see in the future how this goes. The next project that I have is this one. So this is Lavender Mist by Mirabilia. And this one I decided that I was going to do I wanted to, all of my starts this month, not all of them, but a good portion of them, I wanted to try different things. So I have some that I'm going to follow the pattern exactly. I have probably with a different fabric, but follow the pattern. I have some where I am switching things up. And this is one of those that I am switching things up. So Lavender Mist, there's a little bit of purple in this picture, but not a ton. So I was like, I'm not going to stitch it on the called for color. I'm going to change basically everything on this. So this is going to be my first time trying full conversions. So I am converting her hair, her skin, probably all of the colors in her dress. It's going to be essentially a total conversion. So I started out with the hair, and I'm doing this on a white petite point on raw natural linen from the Fat Quarters shop. This is Weigert. And yeah, it's a very small start, but you can see that I have changed her hair to black. So as I continue this journey, you will get to see, hopefully, me finish converting her to all different colors. But first, I think I'm going to concentrate first on her hair and her skin. And then we will then work on converting the rest of her. It's going to be a fun adventure. And I am going to keep track of like what I'm converting and how I'm doing it. But that is that one. So another new thing, lots of fun. The next one I had started was Maidens of the Season, Part 1, which looks like this. And I didn't get too far, but I split this one up, so I'm doing the, what is it, spring and summer. So I'm doing spring on this one. Yeah, you can see I didn't get too much done. This is Toulouse by Jackson Fibre Arts. I have a little bit of the stitching at the bottom done on it. And then the summer is going to go on the other side of this one. So summer is going to go on purple on my Namur by Jackson Fibre Arts. Same fabric, different colors. The next start is this one. So this, if I can get it open. So this is a free pattern that you can find on the internet. This is Nora's Christmas Stocking by Mirabilia Designs. This is one of those, I'm putting it on something different. So this is on 28 count Janlynn lamb's wool, and I actually got a good bit of that one done. So that's where I am on it. I'm pretty happy with that progress. This is on a 5x13 of that particular color. It was interesting actually working with the lamb's wool. It was a lot warmer than I was expecting. So yeah, I did enjoy working on it, but definitely a different feel than like Ada or some of your cottons. Definitely warmer. I was like, oh yeah, I agree. It does feel like wool. Unless it isn't wool. And then for a weird reason, it's really warm. The next one is another free pattern from Nora Corbett, Mirabilia. This one is, which one is this? Gold Butterfly. So Gold Butterfly, I'm doing it on a 22 count Janina. And yeah, 2/2. It's a lot bigger than I was used to. But yeah, there we go. Corner. See, the next one is also free. You might sense a theme. There's definitely some paid. There's definitely a good number of paid patterns in this lineup, but a number of them are free. You can find these on the internet. So the next one is the free pattern for the 6th annual Mirabilia retreat. I believe it was in Charlotte. I'm doing this on a lakeside linen, 36 count, 8" by 24. I can't remember how. Am I doing this at 1/2 or 2/2? I think I'm doing a 2/2, or maybe a 1/2. No, that's 1/2. So, yeah. That. Pretty happy with it. Folding these is a pain. Okay. Whatever. It was originally folded much better than I am folding it back. To put in its lovely. You can also tell I don't have any project bags. I have fabric. I will make some at some point. That will probably also help with like getting things off the floor, but I haven't done it yet. They live in flat plastic bags until I choose differently. Yep. So another one. This next one is one of her Patreon ones. So this one is called the Golden Lake Swan. And I got it started here. This is on a 14 count Ada. Just have kind of the water finish started on this one. Yep. Another one done. This next one is actually a set of 10. So she did a series of cherubs. So there is the 2001 Guardian Cherub, the 2000 Holiday Cherub, the 2007 Holiday Cherub, In Cupid's Garden from 1997, the 2012 Garland Cherub, the 1999 free holiday gift from Nora Corbett from Mirabilia called Holiday Prayer, the 2010 Holiday Cherub, the 1996 Heavenly Holidays, the Cherub with Tree, and the 1998 Holiday Cherub. So there's a series of 10. And these guys are actually getting stitched together. So I originally was like, oh, I'll do them separately. And then I thought about it more and was like, nope. What we're going to do is we're going to put them all into kind of 2 rows. Yes, some parts are going to overlap. That will be fun. We will deal with that later, but we will put all of these guys on one really, really large piece of linen. So I have a start on all of them. It's not a great start. A lot of it is just like the teeniest, tiniest little bit of a start, but they have all been started. And it'll be a fun adventure getting them to line up. So I already started. Like all except for 2 of them were the proper size. So they were all like 75, like not the entire thing, but the base. So like the base square was 75 by 70 for all of them except for 2. So I first had to go through those 2 and be like, okay, where am I cutting you off so that you will fit in that base 75 by 70? That way you can fit in with all of your other friends, and we can have all of the cherubs all together because you deserve to be together. So we started out with that. I know that some of them are probably going to smidge into each other's space because I did 15 in between each pattern. Some of them do have like wings that come out, or like a heart or an arrow that like extend past their frame. So those will be issues that I will deal with in the future. Not now. I do wonder though if I put it high enough. It's a good question. We'll find out in the future. Future me problem, not current me problem. Oh. So we still have a good bit to go. So the next one that I did is the Christmas tree from 2007. I am doing this on a 32 bell cast antique ivory, 2/1. 2/1? That looks like 2/2. I don't know. I started it. It's a small start. I don't think that I'm gonna go ahead and like make nice pictures for this. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what time it is, and then if it's early enough, we'll take pictures for all of these, I guess. So you can actually see what got started. The next one that I have here is the, what is this one? It's her newest pattern. Sea Merchant's Wife. So the newest Mirabilia design, Sea Merchant's Wife. I'm going to be doing it on my fabric of the month from Grace Notes Fabrics called Robin's Egg. And it will, this is my start. Very small. And that is what the pattern looks like. So, yep, quick start. I only put literally like a thread in all of these guys. Because it was such a fast, like, every day you were starting something new. But I did get a bunch of things started. Next question is, will I continue to work on them? No. We definitely are focusing on some things. The next one I have is Autumn Queen by Mirabilia. I'm doing this one on, do I have? I don't have a name on this, but I thought it matched. Just started her hair. So Autumn Queen looks like this. Yep. Should turn out lovely. The next one that I started is Another free pattern, actually. So this one is, if I can get it open, I can find out. So this is, what is it? Leilani, the Hula Dancer. And I'm doing this on a 28 count lakeside linen in the color Midnight. So that's what I got started. Just worked on her hair a little bit. Yes, I know I need to serge. I don't have a serger, so I'm not going to serge all the ends or all the sides on these. I do know that I should probably go ahead and sew on the sides of these so that they don't fall apart. But hasn't been a high priority, so I haven't done it. Future me problems. The next one is also a free pattern. I think the next two are free patterns. So we have the Bumblebee. Does it have more to that? Yeah. Just Bumblebee by Nora Corbett. I'm doing this on a 16 count lamb's wool. And they have just a teeny tiny little start. Because this one calls for a bunch of specialty stuff that I didn't have right then. Or at least I couldn't find it right then. So we just did what I could find. The next one is the 2017 Australian Mirabilia Retreat. I'm doing this on a 16 count Ada from Fat Quarter Shop. And just got a little bit of her hair done. So that's where that one is. None of these have a ton of progress. They only have like 1 or 2 strands. But I did start them. They are works in progress now. So as I work on them, I will show them more. The next one is Damask Roses by Mirabilia. So that chart. And I'm doing this on a Picture This Plus Shawl in 28 Lugana. Yeah, I didn't get much done. I have that, like 6 stitches. No, there's slightly more than 6 stitches, maybe 10. 10, started at the top. So, yep. This was a small start even for my standards. But it started, so that's that. This one is Andromeda. So the Greek legend, I'm doing this on a witch hilt linen. I just started the bottom of it right there. So not a lot done on it. This one I am modifying, so how to describe it? I'm not modifying any of her pattern, I am adding to her pattern. So once I finish stitching her, I'm going to be adding on the Andromeda Galaxy behind her. At least that's the plan. So add the galaxy kind of swirling behind Andromeda because she deserves the stars. Oh, this next one is called Spring in My Garden by Mirabilia Designs. This one is on a 25 count Lugana, and I switched this one up in that I'm doing it 1/1 on 25 count Lugana. Yeah. It meant that, so 1/1 is interesting. Like, it goes, your thread goes so much longer when you're doing 1/1. You're just like using the same thread forever and ever and ever and ever and ever, and it just keeps going. But it is a lot smaller stitching, so this one I can do at night, but like if you get into a dark color, I could see like not being able to see it, and so not doing it. Hence why I don't think I like that dragon one piece. So that is Spring in My Garden. Yes, I'm piling everything behind me. The next one, I actually got a decent ways done. So this is Silver Lake's one. This one is a Patreon pattern as well. And I got pretty far on it, actually. So this is another one, you saw it with Mystical Dragon, so same basic concept. It is a different base color. It is a tan base color, but I did paint it again so that it looked more like scenery. So we have like green at the top, blue at the bottom. It's a swan that's going to be on a lake. So yeah, it'll be fun. This one is probably going to be my next like focus piece. Let's be real. The next one is the Secret Garden. Also a Patreon pattern. Not much of it. It's on 30 count mink linen. I'm doing 1/1. And other than that, there's not much more that I'm going to say on that, because there's not much to say on it. Then we have the 2011 Christmas tree. So this guy. And I'm doing it on Tarnished Silver by Lakeside. And I'm doing it, I believe, 1/1. So I just have like the top of the very, very top done. So, yeah. That one. Almost done. The next one is Spring Queen by Mirabilia, and I'm doing it on Grace Notes Buttercup. So that is what I have, and this is what she looks like. And we are almost done with Mira May. So Mira May was more like Mira Madness, I guess, for me. I did a bunch of starts, and I still worked on like the 2 Mirabilias that I had. So this last and final one is Mermaid of Atlantis, and I'm doing it on Galway by Jackson Fibre Arts, and this is what I have done. So this is the top of that motif. I don't know if I showed it. So the top of the motif, the little shell at the very top. Yep, that's what I worked on. And that is the end of all of my whips. Whew. Yeah, I have so many whips now. Yeah, you're not going to see all of them next time. Just what I work on. But now that I have all those whips, I have many things that I can rotate through if I want to. And I'm probably going to do some more. So that leads us to plans and I guess some acquisition stuff. So if you were just joining to watch the things that I worked on and what I'd finished, feel free to leave. I know this is going to be a fairly long video. Maybe not as long as my last one, but I didn't ramble as much this time. It was just like, this is what I worked on. This is what I worked on. So now I'm rambling. So if you just joined for that, feel free to leave. If you want to see the things that I bought / future plans, feel free to stick around. So I have kind of two sets of plans, right? Obviously I have the knitting plans and I have my stitching plans. And I have purchases kind of for both of those things. So starting off, let's start with stitching. So I have a couple of things that I got. So I mentioned the local needle shop that I found, where was it? It's in Indiana? Yeah, it's in Indiana near the national park, the National Dunes out in Indiana. It's a really cute needle shop. I enjoyed going in. The owners were super nice. They had so many things in there. I got a number of things. Some of it was actually like a lot of the fabric that you just saw was from there. I think I got a pattern or two. I'm not sure. It's been a while since there. I did pull some, I did get a needle minder from them, some needles, and a couple of threads, and I'm not sure exactly where those are. They are somewhere in my house. But I did get one pattern that I'm really excited to try, and I also got a piece of fabric from a company recommended by the Hathaway Stitchers, same place. So the pattern I got was this one by Lola Crow, which is the Greenhouse of Oddities. I've seen a couple of people do some other Lola Crows, and everyone is talking about her current stitch along, the Deadly Aquarium, which sounds like fun. Depending on what the final product is, I may buy that pattern at some point, but I'm not doing the stitch along. No. But I saw this and was like, I don't, like, a lot of people do Halloween patterns, and there's not a ton of Halloween patterns that I would be super interested in doing. But this is a Halloween adjacent pattern that I think I would find really fun to do. So I got that pattern, and then Hathaway Stitchers recommended banana oil, so their fabric, and I got a couple of pieces, and the one I'm planning on using for this is an 18 count Ada by Banana Oil, and it looks like that, and it is gorgeous, and I think it will go really, really well with this particular pattern. I also would like to say that Banana Oil, who included a really lovely card in her package with all of her different things, and go Iowa. So as someone who has been transplanted here, not necessarily always by choice, but it seems to just keep coming back. Went to school here, found a job here. There are a number of people who are from here, and I've gotten a number of cross stitch things where they're like, hey, I used to live in Iowa, or hey, I live here in Iowa. So if you happen to have sent me something either as a purchase, from around here, and you mentioned that, I love having those notes. I'm not necessarily going to mention them every time, but it was pretty sweet that someone who does some dyeing and really, really beautiful pieces of fabric would be like, hey, by the way, love to see Iowa being represented. So yeah, the person who does banana oil, lovely person, love the pattern. That is the future plan. When I started, I don't know. The next things that I purchased were, so I've seen a number of long dog samplers, and I was like, okay, we will try. We will see where this goes. So I got the Do Different one, which has Proverbs 3:3 on it. It's a giant pattern, which meant that I needed some giant cloth. So we got a large piece of Ada from Fabric Flare, and that's what we're gonna work with on this one. It'll be fun. Try it. I think my camera is about to go out of memory, so I'm going to pause here before I start the next one so that I can change my memory card. Give me just a sec. And we're back! Yeah, it was almost done. I've been talking for a while, if you haven't been able to figure that out. So the long neck sampler, I'll plan on using actually a DMC variegated with it. So this is a colorist line, and it has some pretty neat variegation on 4522. So we'll see how that goes. That's the plan. So in addition to that needle store, there was actually a local needle shop that opened really recently near me. And I found out about it today because I went to a fiber art, crafting circle this morning. And people were all like, oh yeah, they opened on the 1st of June. And so I was like, well, I now need to walk over there and see if there's any, support them. And also see what kind of patterns they have. So they had 2 patterns that I got there. One of them is for Christmas in July, and they have a Facebook group, and so I will try and join that and use the pattern that I got from them in that group. So the pattern I got was from the Stony Creek collection, and it's Joy Silhouette. I believe that it is, yeah, it's one color. So this will be a fun monochromatic. I hope that it is as much fun to stitch as Claire was. That's the goal. This one, I want to be like Claire. So we'll see if it is, but it'll be fun. The next pattern that I got from them, is from Rosewood Manor, and it's called Bailiwick by Karen Kubla. So it's this pattern here. It has a bird on it, so yes, this will get added to the bird sal when I start it. But for the most part, samplers are not really my wheelhouse. It's not something that I am super enthused about stitching. If you couldn't tell from all of the things that I'm currently stitching, sampler, I have the alphabet, and other than that, nothing is a sampler. Oh no, Log Donk. My long dog that I'm planning is a sampler, technically, but meh. The traditional antique, they're beautiful, people who do them beautifully. It's just not something that I particularly enjoy and think I would enjoy putting in my house. So when I was looking through their stuff, they have a bunch of them, but this one caught my eye because there wasn't any alphabets on their kind of demonstration one, and they actually have a number of specialty stitches. And when I looked through it, I was like, oh, they have instructions on how to do these sampler stitches, these specialty stitches. This is something that I think I need to figure out how to do. So yeah, I got it. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun way to learn some new stitches and see what goes on with that. So that is my recent. Did I mention what this store? So this is the Prairie Rose Needleworks in Ames, Iowa. If you happen to be here, go check them out, help support them. They're really new, and I'm sure they'd enjoy the business. They don't have a, compared to the shop, which I will put somewhere in here. Once I find their name, I will put their name here. So the local needle shop in Indiana, I don't remember the name, but I will find it and I will put it in the comments below. But that shop, like, so much cross, like, they had all kinds of needle minders, they had all kinds of needle specialty flosses, Mill Hill beads, they had all kinds of patterns, like giant, huge stock. The one in Ames is a lot smaller. It's obviously it's a new shop. It looks like most of their fabric is like pre-cut already, so you won't be able to like get whatever you're limited by what they have. They don't have a huge number of cross stitch patterns, but they do have cross stitch patterns. They have some specialty floss, like basic flosses, so Weeks Dye Works, Color Works, DMC that they sell there. They have a number of different things, but it's not quite as like expensive as the other shop, but it's new. So if you have the chance to support them, feel free to go there and support them. Yeah, go support your local shops. Don't just buy online. I do a lot of buying online, but if I have the chance, I do try and at least go occasionally to my local shops to get some stuff. Anyways, so that's my stitching plans. My knitting plans are a little bit different. So with my knitting plans, did I lose? So knitting plans and acquisitions. So I did get a pattern recently called the Oatmeal sweater by Veronika Lindberg. I really do like her as a designer. She has some really gorgeous designs. This one's a V-neck cabled sweater, and I am going to be knitting it in the same color as that t-shirt from IT, which is not going to be a t-shirt. It's probably going to be 3/4 length. But Rainfall by Knit Crate Knitology Wisp. So this is the color it's going to be. This is the sweater. I'm excited to work on this one. This one will be a fun project. The next thing that I have is acquisition / project plan, right? So West Knits put out a new shawl. I've never knit a shawl by him. Some of them I've looked at and was like those are interesting. They're really gorgeous, but I can't see me ever using that. So why would I knit that? But there are some where I'm like, oh, that might be, but this last one I was like, oh, that's something that I really enjoy. Looks like it has a bunch of neat different techniques. So the Mezmerising Mermaid Shawl by Stephen West. He was selling, like, their particular brand was selling some kits, but I didn't buy that. I went to my local needle shop, which is the Knittery Nook in Ames, Iowa, and I got a set of yarn for this one. So it calls for 5 yarns, and you're supposed to kind of go dark to light. Let me see. So what I did, so I have 5 fingering weights, and I did a green scheme because I've been in a green mood recently, if you haven't noticed. So we have Heritage by Cascade Yarns in Pine here. And then beside that we have Heritage Wave Cascade Yarns in the colorway Seattle. So like a bluey green, like a pine green, bluey green. My center color is Cascade Heritage in Solid Moss. And then my next light color is another wave yarn, and this one is Tropical. And my final yarn is the Solid in Cedar Green. So these are the 5 that I'm going to use to knit that particular shawl. I don't have anything else beyond that. So that's my plans. Those are my acquisitions. This is probably going to be an hour and a half long video. Yeah. If you enjoyed watching me ramble and get through everything super fast, feel free to comment, subscribe, like below. I think what I'm going to do, because I have so many projects, I'm not going to try and edit them into where they belong in the actual thing. But after I finish talking and I say bye to everybody, if you want to see better images of like the picture and the project, I'm gonna have kind of like a montage. There will be a lovely montage with lovely music at the very end where you can actually see things better than like the in-live one, because I really don't like watching myself, and I have to do that in order to edit. And there were so many projects and I was going through them so fast. Yeah, it makes me cry inside. So instead we're gonna do a montage, I think, at the end. That seems a much better solution for me, because I can easily do that instead. Yes. Yeah. So you'll get a montage at the very end of project, like better pictures than necessarily me talking to you like this. Anyways, so that's all my project plans, acquisitions. If you enjoyed this, feel free to like, subscribe. Please comment if you have something that you would like to say. I will try and get back to you as soon as possible. If you enjoy Flosstube, check out the channels that I mentioned. They're great channels, they're really good. Do I have anything else to say? I don't think I do right now. Hopefully I will see everybody in a month. And happy stitching, happy knitting, enjoy your weekend, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!